What's interesting is when people call me up, I used to have to talk to them for about an hour on the phone to get them to come in for an appointment. Now they come in and they're ready to sign up and they're ready for business. They're ready to close.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the WBS Podcast. I'm Sam Gupta, your host and principal consultant at digital transformation consulting firm Elevate IQ. Traditional manufacturing organizations are typically sales focused. Even with complex products and longer sales cycles, where research-based content would be crucial, manufacturing organizations rely on relation-based sales, with 70% of the buyers fully defining their needs on their own before engaging with a sales representative. Manufacturing finance executives and owners need to understand the value of content marketing. In today's episode, we have our guest, Greg from Winbond, who talks about why manufacturing organizations need to adopt the approach of digital twin to augment their sales teams. He also touches on several stories where he has made a significant impact on the organization's growth with his digital twin approach. If you are looking to learn how to grow with innovative marketing methods while having a good laugh, this episode is a must listen for you. Let me introduce Greg to you. Greg Mischio is the owner and founder of Winbond, a marketing agency that provides content marketing for small marketing departments with a focus on manufacturing and industrial verticals. Winbond provides a content marketing approach, creating content that's mapped to the customer journey and marketing for distribution via search, social, and niche-based paid advertising. Winbond's clients have enjoyed double and triple digit increases in traffic and leads. With that, let's get to the conversation. Hey Greg, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sam. Good to be here.
Okay, to start off, do you want to start off with your personal story and what you are focusing on these days?
Let's see. I'm going to go all the way back to the date of my birth, 1968. Do you want me to go back that far and start from the...
We just have 25 minutes here, Greg. I don't know how long that is going to take. And I know you write really in-depth content for marketing.
I just need some parameters here, Sam. The first couple of years, second grade is really fascinating stuff. So if you don't want me to go to it, that's fine. No.
If you drew, balance sheet and cash flow statement, my audience is going to appreciate that a lot. So if you can talk about what cash flow statements you created in your second grade.
You should have seen the lemonade stand. We were raking it in. The gross margins were just amazing. No.
2,000%.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I hope nobody died because of that.
I'm a writer. So right away, the CFOs are probably skipping on to the next podcast. But no, that's my background. I'm a writer. What is that? Is that right brain thinking, right? Left brain, right brain? Yeah, left, right.
Left, right. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have three, man. They were...
I think you do, too. That might be true. No, so that's my background. And I was a copywriter. When I started my career, journalism grad, and I was like kind of the Don Draper thing. That was what I wanted to do. I was a copywriter, and I was writing headlines and 1 + 1 = 3 print ads and stuff like that. And that was great fun. And then this internet thing came along, and suddenly, there's an old saying, and this probably is what CFOs pull their hair out. There's an old saying back in advertising. I know 50% of my advertising is working. I just don't know which 50% of it is. And that was, people could never, the CFOs could never prove out, and the advertisers, it was hard for them to prove out where they were making the money. Then the internet rolls along, and Google Analytics, and we really start to be able to track what the results are. And so for a writer, I'm like, it's not just enough to write the catchy headline. Now you got to be able to sell the products. And so I started to really get into, I'm not a CFO, so I still have to apply my creativity and the sales to the sales end. So started to get into content writing and really started to learn how it works within the realm of the internet and the web page. And then I started to do it for a couple of clients, and they were getting traffic to their sites and their business was going up. And I'm like, this is cool and this is fun to do. And I started to build in some of the analytics pros behind me and really started to learn some of the mechanics of it, the SEO component of it. And then we started to build Winbond. So what we've done, Winbond is a content marketing firm. So we help, and we specifically work with manufacturers. We help them develop content that brings people to their website and helps build referrals for their salespeople, and ultimately helps you increase your sales.
Okay, amazing. So, since the purpose of the podcast is growth, and we are looking at 2000% growth, and we are not selling laminate here, we are selling extremely serious stuff. In fact, this is a CFO community, Greg. So, I want to, caution a bit there that you are not supposed to laugh.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll stop that now.
Okay, only I'm supposed to be laughing, not you.
You make me laugh, though, Sam. So I'm sorry about that. I was laughing at you.
All right, so tell me about growth, man. What is your perspective on growth?
That is such a tricky question you threw at me. I gave you an answer. You posted that on LinkedIn, and I said, a wise man once said to me, and this was a CFO-minded guy, he said, great companies cannot stand still. You're either losing ground or you're growing. And I think that's a very simple answer. You are either going backwards or you're moving forward. And so what is growth? How does that happen? How do you move forward? And I guess my approach to that is kind of a yin and yang thing. It's when you're setting a marketing plan, you're using qualitative and quantitative goals. So I always kind of shook my head or scratched my head when I was working for companies, and they're like, the sales team is projected to do 23% growth this next year. And I was always like, well, where did they get that number? And how are they even going to do that? So that qualitative end, the strategy, has to be a big part of it. And to me, that's growth. If you can have a good qualitative and quantitative, pair those two things, that's when the growth occurs. How's that?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's talk about manufacturing a bit. So you said that you are doing the content marketing for manufacturing. So why do you require the focus as far as the content marketing goes? If you ask me, if you are simply writing some of the English sentences, so number one, what is content marketing, and why does it need to be focused?
We've come up with this a way to describe what content marketing is in the context of manufacturing. So, and this is a reason why we really have focused on manufacturing, because we feel that there's a number of eternal challenges that manufacturers face. One, they have long sales cycles. Two, they have complex products, and this is a reason why that they are always sales driven. So manufacturers, let me back up. Manufacturers are typically sales driven organizations. And the reason why they've always been sales driven, complex products, as I mentioned, long sales cycle, a lot of parties that they're trying to reach out to address, purchasing, technicians, engineers who are buying, CFOs. And they also, I am laughing.
And you are laughing.
I'm sorry. I've got to stop.
And on CFO, come on, buddy. Not there.
They also have, people are looking for different aspects of it. And then the third, the newest challenge for manufacturers is the digital challenge. And that what that means is suddenly the sales driven organizations, and it's always happened because they're sales driven because their products are so technical and they are dealing with so many different people. So it's been easier just to have a technician, an engineer, train him a little bit on sales and just get him out to the golf course or get him to the trade show and get the relationships there. Along comes the digital environment, which, changed my life, and it's changing manufacturers. And suddenly the customers are looking for things online. They're not always going to the trade show. In fact, they say upwards of 70% of the prospecting occurs online, out of the hands of the salesperson. So what we've come up with is based on a term that's used in manufacturing. It's called the digital twin. And the digital twin in manufacturing is a digital recreation of a machine or a process. So you can recreate this thing digitally, and then you can test the machine, you can prototype it, you can try different raw materials or alter your process with it. So it's used in manufacturing. Well, we said, well, let's apply that to marketing. And let's create a digital twin of the salesperson. So when people are searching and your salesperson isn't there, your content is. And to take it one step further, just to make this very easy for CFOs who are usually kind of, hear a lot of marketing terms that get thrown around like SEO and et cetera. We kind of boil it down to three simple things. In sales, it's all about getting people to know you, to like you, and trust you. If those three things don't happen, you're not going to get the sale. So we create content for those three different things to get people to know you, kind of that top of what we call top of sales funnel, or just content where you're introducing yourself to them and talking about their problems and their issues. Content to get them to like you, where you're giving away typically think of white papers and things like that. And then content to get you to trust you, case studies, bottom of the funnel, sales pages, things on your website. So that, in an essence, that digital twin, think of the content as the digital twin of your salesperson. And that's what we're shooting to help manufacturers with.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of things with respect to long sales cycle and complex product. But then you also mentioned that it is sales driven. That does not make any sense, to be honest, because typically sales driven organizations are going to be the ones that are not long in nature, because longer sales cycles are going to require a lot more content, lot more research based information, because that has to be supported in the sales cycle. So why do you believe that the long sales cycle and complex product are sales driven organizations?
I'm not sure why they are sales driven organizations. They just typically have been. If they do content, then it would be you just answered the question. I mean, that's what they need to help fill in the blanks there. I think it typically kind of comes back to the complexity sometimes of the products and just the commitment to generating the content and even the means of communicating a lot of those things, with video now, websites, web pages like that, you have the means to do that. So I think the long sales cycle might just be they get the information up front. The salesperson has been back in touch. You tell me, Sam, you've been involved in a lot of long-term sales and things like that. Why do you think it takes so long?
Well, we are in the ERP space and nobody is going to buy from me if I did the sweet talk over the phone. I can tell you that. Okay. What they care for is very insightful content. And that's what we like to do in case of an ERP. And ERP sales cycle could be anywhere from 6 to 9 months. If you close before 6 months, I think you are going to be a hero in the ERP community.
You've had some really good experience with your sales cycle is speeding up because of content. And I've noticed that too with our clients. We had a customer who once said, and this is not in the manufacturing realm, but in one of our B2C clients, she said, what's interesting is when people call me up, I used to have to talk to them for about an hour on the phone to get them to come in for an appointment. Now they come in and they're ready to sign up and they're ready for business. They're ready to close. And I think maybe that sales cycle is occurring and is shortening because they are doing the research at their pace and getting the information they want. Like you said, you're producing in-depth copy. They're calling you up. You've gone through the pre-qual process, right? They're further down the sales funnel and they're ready to closer to the sale.
So let's say if we talk about the sales organization, and obviously as a marketer, you talk a lot about copy. So what exactly is a copy for manufacturing organization? In your definition, let's say they are sales driven, they don't do any marketing. For some reason, they are getting the business. I don't know from where, maybe from trade shows, and maybe you are defining that as sales driven. So what is copy for a manufacturer or a CFO who does not understand what copywriting is?
Right. So really, it's an answer to somebody's problem. You are answering questions that people have about a product, even just about bigger strategic issues. How do I become more efficient? How do I get quicker changeover on my converting equipment? So you're just addressing questions with in-depth quality answers. And so that's what we're writing about. Now, when you get down, and that's more kind of like top of the funnel. I mean, just think about, again, go back to the digital twin. When you meet somebody for the first time, you're not selling them your solution right away. You're trying to find out what they need. You're trying to find out what the problem is. That's what we're doing with the content. We're answering their questions. We're trying to provide them with some in-depth background, particularly, specifically research-based content. And then, once you get down to the sales, then, the content or the copy, you're talking about benefits. How is this helping them? You're talking about social proof or testimonials or case studies. And, the case studies, you want to show how you move the dial. You want to show, again, the qualitative and the quantitative. So we were just writing up a case study. We improved client sales by 32% for a particular product. And we could have said we've helped them improve sales, which we have. We have helped them improve their brand, which we have. But then, you also have to include the quantitative part as well. So that's what I mean by copy, I guess, to the bottom of the funnel then as well. So, it's really answering questions with your content.
So let me ask you this. I mean, let's say if I'm a manufacturer and I have my salesperson, obviously the salesperson is going to be expert of their game, and that's why they are salesperson, right? And they are right there standing in front of the customer. They are able to answer any questions as the customer wants because they are trained in that. So you are saying you are answering the question. So how is your answer going to be different from the salesperson's answer?
It's not. It's a digital twin. I mean, I want to pull from that salesperson his expertise, his insight or hers, and I want to put it online. So if that salesperson isn't there, the answer is.
Okay. So you mentioned that, the digital changed your life. How did it change your life? Can you describe an example?
I think kind of going back to my personal story, a lot of the advertising back in the day, again, that 50% of my ad budget is working. I just don't know what 50% it is. So I was just working in just, some big ad agencies and doing copywriting, strictly a writer. And there wasn't as much focus, I think, on really making the content work and the performance of it. It was a lot more brand based, and it wasn't as tied to the bottom line, I guess I would say. With the website, when you're writing on the web, it's very, there's so many more metrics you can use to measure the success of your content and your copy. So I do think it just helps streamline a lot of things. And then today's marketer is much more metrics driven and focused on their metrics than ever before. And so, it just, for me personally, those are skills I had to really develop and focus on, so I can go in and talk to a CFO and just say, look, our goals, lower your cost per acquisition, give you clear ROI.
Yeah. So, do you have any stories that you might want to share where you have made some difference in the organization? Maybe they were sales driven, based on your definition that you mentioned, and then you made them marketing driven. So, can you walk me through the entire process where they were, what you did, and what was the impact of what you did?
I'll talk a little bit about Delta Modtech, which is one of our clients. And let me just be very clear about this in terms of the digital twin. We are not replacing salespeople. We do not believe that is going to happen. We are complements to the sales team. We want to bring marketing closer to the sales team. There's always been those silos and a lot of finger pointing between sales and marketing. Why isn't marketing generating more leads? Why isn't sales closing more leads? We need to bring those two parties together. And I think through the kind of the digital twin mindset, we can do that. So we were contacted by Delta Modtech. They wanted to, and this happens a lot, they wanted a new website and they wanted to improve their digital presence, their presence on the internet. And they weren't really too sure how to do it. I mean, they knew a little bit about SEO, they knew a little bit about social media. They just didn't quite have the strategy behind it. And they were looking for someone to help them execute it. So, we started out with the website. They definitely needed a redesign. But we built their sales pages, and then we employed a content strategy to get them that know you, like you, trust you mindset and framework out there. And then we just started to generate content and reach out. And a big thing, and I think you're really good at this, Sam. Kudos to you on your marketing outreach. One thing
Well, thank you so much, Greg.
Well, sure. I know. I've got you. Okay. That's your plug. All right. I'm not going to say anything else about you. All right.
Yeah, you are on my part. I mean, you are supposed to say nice things about me.
You've got a nice speaking voice, Sam, by the way. So
that is the only thing you got.
That's well, me work on that for a little bit.
I was thinking maybe you are going to say, Sam, you are so insightful. You are so creative. But I'm not getting any of that.
So we're working with Delta Modtech, and I'll get back to you later on that stuff, Sam. But we're working with Delta Modtech, and they're like, this is a big gamble for them. Not, I say gamble. Most manufacturers are very conservative, and they don't get the whole, marketing. They're skeptical of it. And so we just started to do what we do, and we started to get an increase in traffic. Now, our traffic, it rose. We generated a 273% increase in traffic. Now this was over 4 years. So you might say, well, that's not that much, but it was increase in quality traffic. And that's the key, is to be very focused. They're pretty narrow niche. And we did it. We started to really get some good rank for some of their bottom of the funnel product pages. So that's, where you're getting the sales leads and generating more sales. So when we started with them, they had like 140 conversions off their website. When we were done, they had up to 487 in the year 2019. This is a case study on our website. So 245% increase in from their product pages. So, kind of turning this website a brochure site into kind of the digital twin that we've been talking about.
Okay. Do you have any marketing material that you built that you felt maybe it was really impactful at Delta?
One of the things, and I think this is more, it's not a specific piece, Sam, it's more this philosophy. And here's another compliment coming to you, Sam. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. And it is supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be funny. And you are supposed to be making me laugh, or this episode is not getting published.
Let me write that down. Funny, make Sam laugh. What we like to do with our top of funnel content, and that's the content that gets people to kind of know you and like you, is we do what's called collaborative content. Okay, we reach out and we work with partners, suppliers, other experts in the industry, and we try and integrate them into your content. So, I'm going to do a blog post on, great marketing for manufacturers. And I'm going to reach out to Sam and say, Sam, give me a quote here. Because I know Sam likes to talk and he's got a great speaking voice. But here I'm going to get him actually in our blog post. And
You only covered one point.
I'm going to get him in our blog post, and I'm going to get him, he's going to participate. And so we do this with manufacturers, again, they're suppliers, partners, experts in the field, and we get them integrated in the content. And it's a really cool thing because suddenly you're not, of course, you're sharing your expertise. You're talking about yourself and, sharing what you know. That's critical. But you're part of the larger picture that customers need help with. You're part of the you're solving the bigger picture. So like your product might serve and help you with one specific part of what they're looking for. But customers have a whole range of issues that they need help with. And if you integrate more people who can help those customers in different ways, that's a great thing. And that typically translates into what we think of as referral sources. And that's traditionally how salespeople have done it, made a lot of referral sources, people in complementary, professions and things like that. We're doing it with our content, and we're getting those people that you work closely with featured in your content, and then they share it. They share it on their social network, and smart guys like Sam Gupta, they'll go on LinkedIn. They'll look at who's,
Greg, I'm telling you, this episode is going now, okay? Because you already touched on 2 or 3 points. I'm super impressed with you.
Yeah, man. I've got 3 compliments about you so far. And I'm not.
Good job.
Yeah,
man.
no, hey, you've earned it. I'm telling you, you are a super fella. But Sam Gupta's going on LinkedIn. He's sharing the content. People like it. He connects with them. They set up a meeting, and on it goes. And really, at the end of the day, the stuff we've got a lot of technical terms are thrown out here in terms of SEO and landing pages. A lot of the marketing terms, but really, it's just coming down to a systematic way for your sales team to make referrals and connections, and those connections result in sales.
Okay, good stuff. What else did we not cover that you plan to cover as part of this interview, Greg? Other than talking about me.
I know. The one thing
you can talk about me all the time, Greg. I'm telling you. I'm going to be so happy with that.
You know what? One thing I do want to say, and this is really something that we've noticed over the last year or so, and I'm sorry, Sam, it doesn't have anything to do with you. The case studies that are on your website and what your customers say about you. A lot of people kind of take those for granted, but those are gold. Those are really gold, especially in manufacturing. So think about it this way. When you go out and you are looking for a good place to eat, or you're looking to buy a lawnmower, you're looking at the reviews. Well, case studies are, in those reviews, let me back up a second. Those reviews are what they call social proof, right? So social, it's a way for people to see, put their vote in. It's social proof. Everybody's voting on what's a good product. These case studies are the social proof for manufacturers. So when you get your customers to talk about you and give the quantitative results, those are huge. And we've used those a lot. And they're very convincing. We've seen them used as content in articles, and people love to read about that. And they impress even CFOs, Sam, if you can believe that.
That's amazing. It's very hard to impress a CFO, Greg. You are doing good.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, brother. So do you have any last minute closing thoughts? I mean, this is going to be your last chance to talk about me.
I'm thinking about writing a blog post about how incredible Sam Gupta is. And
oh boy,
and
you are going to be charting on WBS.rocks. This is going.
And if you want to read that blog post, you should go to winbond.com and subscribe to our blog. So when it comes out, you're the first one to read it. No, I just in terms of what we're doing, if you go, Sam will have our website in the liner notes. But I think, whether you're working with us, whether you're working with somebody else, this whole idea about getting the digital twin of your sales team online and engaging in content and making yourself part of the picture. And especially, I'm going to put out the call to CFOs here. We marketing people tend to be creative types, and we could really use your help. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. I was talking to a salesperson, and what part of our product.
You mean Sam Gupta?
I wasn't talking to you, Sam. I was thinking about you while I was talking to this other salesperson, saying if this person was only like Sam Gupta, they would just be an incredible salesperson. But So I'm talking to this person, and they're like, part of this is the lifetime. Part of what's great about us is the, lifetime return on investment. And I'm like, well, how can we quantify that? How can we, the lifetime value of a product, how can we do that? And I'm thinking we just need to talk to the CFO. We need your financial minds involved with proving out the marketing and the value of your product. So I think it's a great opportunity for CFOs to really get in and help prove out the quantitative aspects of what you're trying to do, and that will yield those, qualitative results.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Greg. This has been fun on Friday. You made my Friday.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't
just because the way you spoke about me, you are incredible, my friend.
It was really my pleasure just to shower you with praise. I didn't hear too much coming back to me, but I was kind of expecting that to.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I cannot thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their knowledge and journey. I always pick up stuff from our guests, and hopefully you learned something new today. If you want to learn more about Greg or Winbond, please visit winbound.com. Links including the one for Digital Twin Marketing Guide and more information will also be available in the show notes. If anything in this podcast resonated with you and your business, you might want to check other related episodes, including the interview with Chris Lukey from Manufacturing Happy Hour podcast, who touches on how manufacturers can augment their offerings by adding value-added and Industry 4.0 solutions. Also the interview with Joe Sullivan from Gorilla76, who touches on different aspects of social media and marketing and why manufacturing organizations need to rethink their marketing strategy with COVID-19. Also, don't forget to subscribe and spread the word among folks with similar backgrounds. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please review and rate us on your favorite podcasting platform or DM me on any social channels. I'll try my best to respond personally and make sure you get help. Thank you, and I hope to catch you on the next episode of the WBS Podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.